Also, two QBs battling for one position.
Oh, cancer, it is the most common cancer for American men, and not a common meant to be discussed. We're here tonight with the story of a local pastor who is a prostate cancer survivor and who wants to become a national advocate.
Guys, before doing my sit-down interview with Bishop Rudolph McKissick Jr., I, like so many young African-American men, did not know much about prostate cancer. After doing some research, I found that statistics show black men are both more likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer and die from it, although the reasons for this are not clear. In a very candid and transparent interview, Bishop McKissick Jr. told me that's a fact he's focused on changing. Bishop Rudolph McKissick Jr., pastor of Bethel Baptist Institutional Church, is a fiery, passionate, and bold pastor. The leader of one of the most prominent and historical churches in Jacksonville is using that platform to educate people about prostate cancer. In May, McKissick had his prostate removed. After weeks of recovery, it was a journey he wasted no time sharing from the pulpit.
Over these last 5 weeks, I'm not going to tell you any lies. I've been mad with God. I've bargained with God. God, I'm 47. I ain't got no business having cancer in my body. I ain't got no business having to wear a diaper and not knowing how to get to the bathroom, and my bladder having its own mind, and I can't stop it when it comes, and I got to wear pads like I'm some woman. Don't get quiet on me. I'm just talking. I just believe when God gives you an influential voice, I think it becomes good, number one, that people know that you go through things just like they go through. So I just saw myself as a public service announcement to really wake up younger men, in particular younger African-American men, to say, listen, this is not an old man's disease. You know, this can happen to anybody.
In fact, McKissick says he found out about the prostate cancer only after he had gone in for something else.
I had no symptoms, not one single. And I think that's one reason I want to be this advocate, to say, listen, don't you wait on symptoms to show up. If I didn't have a doctor who was diligent and caring, we never would have discovered this. And I think that's why God allowed it to happen the way he did. What were those 4, 5, 6 weeks of recovery like? I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. Hell. For me, worse than knowing I had the cancer. Because you almost feel like you're left with a malfunctioned body. You know, your bladder is out of control. You have no control over surges you might get. If you stand up, if you laugh, if you cough, you know, you just have these surges. You're having to wear a Depend or a pad and change it 3 or 4 times a day. It's a mental and emotional game that I haven't gotten used to yet. I've just gotten better with it. So it's a struggle.
However, McKissick says talking about it publicly is what's helping him to get through it.
I'm also trying to help some other brother who might be going through this, but doesn't have the power of the mic to say that it's all right to go through it. It's all right. I got a diaper on right now, but I'm preaching God's word. I believe that the church should be the #1 vehicle of ministering to social needs as well as spirituals.
But he hasn't dealt with cancer alone. His 3 children and his wife Kimberly have been right by his side.
He's been through so much, and I said, you know what, this is going to be a breeze. What else can happen to you that you can't, you know, overcome? So I was excited about the option of this being something that, once again, he can be victorious from and use it as a preaching tool, and that's basically what God has been doing with him.
And my kids have been so attentive. You know, I mean, my wife has just been the jewel. But my kids have also been very attentive, you know, fussing if I preach too hard. Or even before I went back to preaching, coming in the room, seeing if I needed anything. Could they get me anything to drink, get me anything to eat? It's been something that brought some cohesiveness to the family.
McKissick says, men, if you take nothing else from his story, he wants you to hear this.
If they are enduring prostate cancer right now, that you can overcome it, that you need to be patient with it, that you need to do whatever the doctor tells you to do. If you are in the recovery from it, do your Kegel exercises, strengthen your muscles so you get back to the normal walks of life. If you are not going through it, tomorrow after watching this, make an appointment. You know, so many men are scared because you hear prostate exam, you think the finger, you know, and that kind of thing. Listen to me. If it means living, take that 10 seconds of discomfort and get that test. Men, get checked. Please get checked.
Bishop McKissick Jr. says he wants to do more advocating and educating beyond the church, particularly in neighborhoods where men don't have insurance and may not be able to get to a doctor. He also plans to partner with some in the medical field and the American Cancer Society to provide screenings.
Chris, thanks. Very interesting. Thank you. And to hear